So it's Valentine's Day, which maybe a silly holiday, but it is a holiday of love. So I was going to write a letter and read it, but then I didn't do that. I just made some notes, but I wanted to, this is my letter of love to INFJs and to this. I hesitate to call it a community because a community is a group of different people that get together to do things. But to this INFJ group, I'm going to tell you the reasons why I love you. So when I started kind of in this journey, I guess, or when I started my YouTube channel, I did not start it with the intention of talking about being an INFJ and what that meant to me, because I already knew that it would come with some attack and naysayers and all of that stuff. I was going to talk about my chickens because that's safe, but that very quickly morphed into talking about this because this was something that was easy for me. Maybe not easy, but it was something that I could talk about that was meaningful. And when I started, I was probably in the darkest time of my life. I had gone through a lot of loss, and I was really in a bad place. And if you watch some of my older videos, I am very nervous on camera, but you can probably see that, in my eyes and my mannerisms, that I was in a really bad place. But I put on a good show. I feel like sometimes I was crying, so it was not such a good show. But I felt like for probably all of my life that I was alone. I was always very lonely. I didn't feel like I knew anyone else that was like me. And that is the INFJ mantra. I feel like that's what we say a lot, that we are the only one. And I don't feel that anymore because I can talk about these things that roll around in my head and the way that I do things and the way that I think about things. And those things always made me feel like I was crazy. And if I talked about them out loud, I would end up in a mental health unit. If other people heard me say those things, I would end up that was always my fear, that I would end up being locked up somewhere because I was crazy. And I always felt like I was the only one that was like that. And come to find out, I'm not. Because there are other people like me. And this group of people I have learned to love so very much. So I love the ability for INFJs to see more than meets the eye in our personal lives, and even when we're watching someone in a video on camera, that we can see beyond the words they're saying, beyond the beautiful background that they put up behind them, beyond, the makeup I've slapped on my face and whatever I've done to create this external image. I love the ability for other INFJs, for you guys, to see beyond that and say, I see a sadness. I see that you're feeling better today, even if I didn't announce that I was feeling better or was sad. And I always thought I was the only one. I was a stranger in a crowded room. I was the only one that could see that in other people. And I love the knowledge of knowing that I'm not the only one that can do that. I love when I put out a video and I say a bunch of rambling things. I love the confirmation of INFJs saying, yes, I feel and think the same way. But on the other hand, I also love when I'm challenged, when someone says, hey, you said this, and, I feel this way about it. I love that challenge. It makes me think. It makes me think in ways that I probably wouldn't have otherwise, because I didn't know other people that had brains that worked the same way. So I love the challenging that I get from INFJs. I love the intelligence of INFJs. And a lot of times in the comment section, I end up feeling like this uneducated Midwestern redneck, because I chose being a wife and motherhood over education. So when these very educated professional people make these comments, sometimes I feel stupid. But I love the intelligence of INFJs. I love that they know so many things and will take time to research things, not just decide that they were told it was this way and that's the way it is, that they will just dig into that and have that just like analytical, intelligent brain. I just love that. Thoughtful comments and concerns. I have a list. Thoughtful comments and concerns for a stranger. I am to many of you as you are to me, although I feel like I'm developing a relationship through comments. It's so odd, but I am a stranger, and you don't know me other than the 5, 10, 15-minute videos that I put out a few days a week. But the thoughtful comments and the concerns over my well-being and my welfare and how things went for me just makes me love the INFJs so much, because to have feelings, to have love in your heart and to have concern over a person that you really don't know, that you just see little bits of their life, it's kind of hard to swallow, but I really appreciate it, because I feel like I have a place of where people are actually concerned about me. For much of my life, I didn't feel like there was a lot of concern about me, or perhaps I didn't recognize or was able to accept that concern over me. And now I know that if I don't post for 4 or 5 days, that there are going to be people that are going to be concerned over me. So I absolutely love that. We come from all over. We come from different cultures, religions, families, careers, upbringing, traumas, privilege, or the lack of privilege. And yet we all can, in that crazy difference, we're all over the world and all over, different kinds of things that have happened to us in our lives, we can come together and still seem the same in a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways that we are different, but I love knowing that there's a group of people that, despite their difference in the way that they came up and the way that they live, that they're the same as me. It's so cool. I love the acceptance. Dogs. I love the acceptance that I get from INFJs, even when they don't agree with me. That they can say, I don't agree with you, but they still accept me, and they still see me as a viable person and that I am important. And I love the encouragement that I get from INFJs when I'm struggling, when I'm having bad days. And definitely this channel was, I didn't want it to be a informational lists about this personality type that would say that, if you're an INFJ, you're this, this, and this. I wanted it to be just kind of a, monologue of my life and things that I struggle with and my day to day and things that I'm thinking about, and good, bad, and ugly. When I'm having thoughts that are controversial, I guess, or I'm thinking about things that bother me and I put them out, I love the support that I receive from INFJs, that they can say, challenge me in my thoughts and also encourage me to keep going, encourage me to live in the way that I was created, and give me the ability to use my gifts. So it's super cool. I love the INFJ commitment to improve themselves, commitment to improve the world, commitment to improve everything, that we are always looking for a way to make things better for everyone, for the greater good, for humanity, for not just for ourselves. You know, it isn't a self-seeking improvement. It is really about the world and other people. And I love that. And then the last thing I have on here is I love that INFJs have a desire, and maybe not all the time because sometimes we're hurting and we can't do it, but we have a desire to spread the love that we have and the light that we have to the world, and try to understand other people better, and try to understand how the world works and why people are hurting and what we can do to improve that, even when we don't understand ourselves. You know, I just still wanting to do good for other people and still love other people, even when we find it hard to love ourselves. So I love you, INFJs. I am so thankful for every one of you that watches and comments and subscribes and that continues to encourage me to do this. I'm even thankful, and I love the people that say that I'm something that I'm not, because it makes me just dive deeper into trying to discover who I am. And I no longer feel lost and alone, and I don't feel like I'm the only one anymore. So happy Valentine's Day. That is my love for INFJs. Thank you for watching. Live and love out of the way you were created.